In this video, which is part 4 of the Chart.js Navigator, we're going to focus on these circles here, or specifically the left circle, where we'll now be able to press, hold, and drag them left and right. So to do this, we're going to scroll down here. We're going to continue on with the before event area. In here, we will need one additional tool to help us, which is the constant, and we're going to say this is the hold duration. And what this does is it will help us to identify if a click would be a hold click. Basically, what we do here is say if we have a mouse click, a left mouse click, mouse down, longer than a half of a second, it will be considered a dragging effect. So you might be wondering, why are we doing this? Because we're using here the mouse move, mouse up, and the mouse down event. The canvas itself doesn't have the standard functions of drag on or on drag, and then start drag and end drag. So they don't have that. It doesn't support it. There are ways around it, but I'll just leave it as it is because we're just using these standard functionalities, the move or mouse move, mouse up, and mouse down. Alright, so that's why we need this as a helping hand. So what we're going to do here first is create the mouse down. So we're going to say canvas, and then we say here add. You can just grab this in the whole code. And then in here, what we're going to do here is basically this if statement here. I'm going to grab this as well because we have the mouse, and this must be mouse down, don't forget that. And then basically once we are mouse down, specifically on this area here, and if we then press mouse down, it will recognize this event. So what I'm going to do here now is put in a few things. So now we have all those items what we had before here at the very top. Is dragging, is hold, the hold timer, and then we have here basically the left circle, and all of those are now going to be used. So we're going to grab all of these, going to scroll down, and then we're going to say here if. Let's put these in here, and let's remove it. Dragging in this case is considered true. We said this one will be true. The left circle, dragging will be true. The is hold is basically still false. The hold timer, we will be using that now. So the is hold is false. Why is it false? We did not yet validate that this is at least a half second hold on the mouse down. So we're going to put that in there as well. So we're going to say here the hold timer, which is null at the moment. I'm going to say here equals set timeout, and this here will help us now to calculate are we holding it. So it is hold set to true, and then once we did that, the hold set to true, and then in this hold set to true, we're going to make sure that, hold on, so we have these codes as related to this one here. So this and this is still missing. So we say that and this, or we had them already, I guess. That's this one here. All right, so that's fair. Let's put in an enter so we have extra space. We know that. So in here, we can now say console log, hold, we can just say here, circle left drag, and basically hold more than 0.5 seconds. Basically that's what we're doing here. That's validating this, but then we put in here comma, because what we're going to say here, this is the hold duration variable or constant that we just had here. Alright, so this helps us to track that. So once we did this, let's save this and see if we get at least the item here. As you can see here, it takes a few seconds, or it takes a while, but then it gives us the item. If I click elsewhere, nothing works, or it will not respond, because it should be only responding within that range there of the circle because of this item here. Alright, so now we have this here. Let's continue on. And what we want to do now is, well, we have this if statement, which is there, and so we can just maybe do this indented. Alright. Now what I want to do is else. We want to undo everything. Basically, if it's just only a click, but not a hold press click. So we say here, set this on false. And then I guess we could maybe, just to make sure, set the canvas cursor back to default. Alright, let's save that there. Click. If I just click here, or at least we click there, somehow this doesn't work, we'll figure it out later on. But this is the standard here. So now what I want to do is start to put the second block in there, and the second block will be focused on moving it. So far we have only figured out it recognizes our movement or mouse down, and it knows that it's dragging, but it doesn't change the position. And that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to change the position. So we can just put that in here, left circle, and then we're going to say here, change position. And then the change position will be based on another if statement, and this if statement will have a lot of conditions. So the conditions that we're going to deal with are, first of all, if the left circle is set to true, because that's the one we want to drag, or at least if we're dragging the left circle, and no need for that. Then we're going to say here end, and this end here will be is dragging set to true, and do we have what we call the mouse move. So the mouse move can be easily obtained by saying args.event.type, and then we say type will be equal to mouse move, because that's what we want to measure. So how do we get this, if you're wondering? Remember here, this object here, args, it gives us also the type. So from the event, it will figure out what's the event type, and that will be move. And then finally, once we have that, we want to do one more thing, and that is args.event.x. Basically, the x coordinate should be bigger than left. And the reason I want this is because if we're moving here somewhere, the cursor or this part should not move at all, shouldn't even be triggered, because once we hit this area, you cannot go further to the left. You could go to the right side, but not anymore to the left. So we have to make sure that that is blocked off. Alright, so now we have everything that we need, and now we can start to draw it. So what I want to do here first is just say here the console log, and just get the x coordinates of our cursor. Let's see if we get this. If I move this, there we are. As you can see here, we get this, and right now you can see, even though I'm now mouse up, it doesn't stop because we didn't put in the mouse up functionality. So that will be done in another video, but for now we have this here. So this is already a clue that we're on the right track. So what I want to do here now is I'm going to grab this x core here, and this is the reason why we had this one prepared for the circle, x coordinate left. We're going to say that the x coordinate left will be now equal to the new cursor position x. So once we did this, then I'm going to say here args.change, and this gives us the command to redraw the chart. And then we're going to say set this on true. Are we going to redraw the chart? Yes. So basically it will now send this value to the hoisted value that we had at the very top here. We'll send it here up, and it will redraw, and this will be communicated to this part of the plugin. It will say to put the circle, or the new coordinates of the circle is here. Alright, so let's save that, and let's make that movement here. There we are. As you can see here, I can move this, and it will work nicely. It will keep on moving. Of course, we're not fully done, but Now we have at least the first part. So next video we're going to focus on the other part, which is the right circle.